So today I'm going to show you how to transfer an embroidery pattern onto fabric. So I've got my design here. I created this on my iPad Pro and then printed it out on just regular printer paper, and then I cut it out to basically the size of the design. So I've got my embroidery hoop here. This one is 7 inches. I'm just going to loosen the screw at the top and then separate the inner hoop from the outer hoop. I've got my fabric here that I've cut to size. This is Kona cotton in white. So I will just position it on the inner hoop, then pop the outer hoop right on top there, screw the screw to tighten, and then I'm just gonna kind of pull around to make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. Now I'm going to take my my printout here. I'm going to flip it over so that it's face down on the front of the hoop. Position it, and then I'm just going to tape it right to the fabric so that it doesn't shift around when I'm tracing. Alright, so as you can see here, I've got an LED light box. This is the brand. I got it on Amazon. You know, I think probably any kind of light box, LED or otherwise, will work just fine. You can also hold the hoop up to a light or a window and get the same effect. So I'm going to turn my light box on. I've now flipped the hoop over so you can see the pattern through the fabric. I've got a Pilot friction pen. I don't know if you can see that, but you can get these on Amazon for pretty cheap. These are heat erasable, so you can remove the marks that you make on the fabric with a blow dryer or an iron, so it's really convenient. Alright, so now I'm just going to take my pen and trace the design. And there we go. So now I will remove the paper, turn off the light box, and there you can see the transferred design. You can stitch it just like this, and then flip the fabric over when you're finished stitching. I actually prefer to flip it first. And you can also transfer it this way so that you don't have to flip it at all. If you're holding it up to a window or another light source, it's kind of easier to do that way. I find that if you're using the light box, you kind of want to have it flush against it, which is, you know, why I do it the way I do it. But there are tons of different ways to transfer patterns, so you know, experiment and see which one you like best for yourself. And I'm just retightening the screw and making sure this is nice and tight, because the tighter it is, the nicer your stitches will look, and really the easier it is to stitch uniformly. So I always like to make sure that my fabric's really tight before I begin, and you can also tighten the fabric as you go, because sometimes it can become a little bit loose as you're stitching. Okay, so we're ready to start stitching.